John Finolio is live in our newsroom tonight with what's happening all around the nation tonight. John?
Court and Rick, good evening to you. 13 states have now activated the National Guard, including here in Los Angeles. As we have seen for days, most of these demonstrations begin peacefully, then turn chaotic. We've seen fires and looting in cities across the U.S., including the nation's capital.
Chaos and violence in Washington, D.C. Fires burning in front of the White House, hundreds of demonstrators gathering nearby. In Minneapolis, the epicenter of the unrest. A tanker truck drives through a crowd of protesters, some who were reportedly kneeling. Video shows demonstrators stopping the truck and removing the driver, who was later arrested. No one seriously injured. Protesters across the country chanting the last words of George Floyd, whose death in Minneapolis police custody last week has sparked national outrage.
No justice, no peace.
The demonstrations largely peaceful at the outset.
We deserve justice, not just for what happened to Mr. Floyd in Minneapolis, but what's happening to black men and women all across this country, and that's been happening.
But quickly turning violent. Fires and looting in Philadelphia and Los Angeles. Mayors in at least 25 cities instituting curfews and pleading for calm.
I will not let criminals take over our city and shame the majority of us.
The sheriff in Michigan attempting to show solidarity with demonstrators.
We want to be with y'all for real. So I took my helmet off and laid the batons down. Yeah. I want to make this a parade, not a protest.
But elsewhere, police and protesters clashing violently. In New York City, an NYPD vehicle drives into a crowd of people Saturday. Officials say the officer accelerated after someone threw a flaming object on top of the SUV. In Atlanta, two officers use a taser to get a pair of college students out of a car Saturday. Local TV station WGCL capturing the moment live on air.
They flattened the tire, broke the glass to the car, and I hear what I believe to be a taser.
The students were reportedly in violation of a citywide curfew. Atlanta's mayor says the two officers have been fired. Back in Minnesota,
I would like to see the arrest of the three officers that were part of the moment in which George Floyd died.
But with centuries of systemic racial injustice at the root of the outrage, the arrest of the officers involved is only a small part of what people are fighting for.
I want to be able to go in a white neighborhood and feel safe. I want to be able, when a cop is driving behind me, I don't have to clench and be tense, okay? I want to be able just to be free and not have to think about every step I take.
Tonight, we're learning the White House was put on lockdown Friday as protesters gathered nearby. The president and First Lady were reportedly taken to an underground bunker for a short time. No word if that has happened tonight as protesters gather again. We've learned those fires have been extinguished and the crowds have been pushed away from the White House. I'll send it back to you in the studio.